ZB said this was absolutely Slot's most important result so far. Needs a result from this game to build respect. And I hope, my friend, he gets that respect. Because it really riled me going into this game, still hearing that we hadn't played anyone. We hadn't been tested. Gone to Milan away in Europe, won. Gone to Leipzig away in Europe, won. Played at United at Old Trafford, won. Played Chelsea at home. A Chelsea who looked very good again today, beat them. And now we've gone to the Emirates, to an Arsenal team that have been spoken about as the successors to Man City's throne. And once again, kept that 4-point gap between us and them. So at some point, ZB, I do hope that we get that credit, because they deserve it. The boys deserve it. The manager deserves it. Sheila said, this is so pathetic. Why are we defending and being happy with a draw? This proves Arsenal are better than us. So, Sheila, my friend, I guess it's all about perspective, right? And how you look at it. I don't think any of us are sitting here celebrating a draw. But sometimes the perspective of how the game went is important. So if we went 2-1 up, Sheila, in that game, and we let Arsenal back into it and they got a point, I feel like we have a different conversation now. But we started the game off poorly. Arsenal went in at half-time 2-1 up and dug it in second half and turned it into a fortress and defended deep. And yes, they had to make changes and they tried some of the dark arts, but we got a point. So I don't think anyone's celebrating mediocrity or anything like that. And I don't think any of us wouldn't have liked to have won there, Sheila. But, it's okay to say we live to fight another day as well. And that is, whether we want to admit this or not, one of the more difficult games of the Premier League calendar out of the way. So I get where you're coming from. I respect your thoughts on it, but I don't think we're celebrating it. So much as more we're relieved that we didn't end up not being able to find that equaliser. But I'm not going to disagree, Sheila. I don't think we played particularly well today. But, I'll take the point. Timothy said, I feel like Klopp intensity ball would have won that. Costas, Endo, Szoboszlai would have been put on sooner. Or, and here's the other side of that coin, mate, or maybe we can see the third overcommitting. Or by giving the ball away. There are things we could have done today to make that game a bit easier. The silly free kicks in the first half, namely Luis Diaz on Partey 3 times. Their second goal came from that third foul. That could have been cut out. Robbo could have defended the one-on-one with Saka better. Didn't. So yeah, individual battles, making the right decisions at the right moment. Sometimes, as you hear so much, a top-level sport, small things can be the difference. One of the few times Slot has kept Trent on past 70 minutes, knowing he could produce one pass we needed to get a goal back. A good point away, said Ben G. Yeah, and I touched on that, mate, earlier on. You're kind of right. Because let's be honest, he and Salah weren't at their best today. But sometimes the greats produce that moment when it's needed. And I don't know if Arne was keeping him on for that moment or because the options on the bench were somewhat limited. It was really only Joe Gomez that was there that could have come on after Costas came on the other side. So maybe if Bradley was there, who knows? But he wasn't, and Arne kept him on. The Detective, thank you for your super chat, my friend, said, a point at the Emirates is always a decent result. A point more than we got there last season. Very good week, beating Chelsea and Leipzig as well. Exactly. Remember now, we're at the start of that really hectic 7 games in 20 days. And so far in this run, we've beaten Chelsea, beaten Leipzig, drawn with Arsenal away. That's not too shabby. Now we've back-to-back games against Brighton. League Cup on Wednesday. League game next Saturday at 3 o'clock. Then we go into, I think, Leverkusen and Manchester City. So this is a tough run of fixtures that Arne Slot's trying to navigate and manage his way through. And I'll tell you what, so far, so good. I'm happy with what I'm seeing in regards to the points and the results. Do I think we can be better? Yes. We definitely have more creativity to come. Said, Klopp's emotions infected players, made us do impossible things, but also take unnecessary risks. Slot's more grounded and it reflects on the pitch. Styles. Yeah, he's a bit more pragmatic, mate. I think that's fair. And it takes some getting used to. Because we had that blood and thunder, 100 miles an hour, all of us emotionally invested in it. But Arne's his own man. And sometimes I like both sides of it. Sometimes I miss the Klopp stuff. Sometimes I miss that swashbuckling, balls out attack. But then sometimes I look at our defending and the cover that we have and I just think, yeah, I can understand that side of it as well. Edwin Gonzalez, thank you, Edwin, said Slot is still new. We're lucky, yes. There is a good result because a point, and it's a good learning experience for Slot. Let's just see. Yes, there aren't going to be many more difficult games away from home in the league for Arne Slot to go and manage. People will talk about going to the Etihad, but if you go to the Etihad, you're just dealing with City and the ref, because the fans are, let's be honest, shy. Arsenal fans today made that a proper hostile atmosphere, and I mean that in a complimentary way. Proper Premier League game. So yeah, that was tough, and we dealt with it, and the manager came out there with a point, and I'll take that point. So yeah, United lost, we drew against a good opponent, good weekend. Well, it's a good weekend because we are still where we want to be in the league, you know, right there in striking distance, just one behind Man City, still 4 ahead of Arsenal. That's great. Do you know what? If I said to all of us that we'd be 4 points clear of Arsenal at this point of the season and 1 behind City before the season started, I know I'd have taken it.